Welcome back to BrokeN Boys. This is episode 65. I'm Colin.
And I'm Mike.
All right. Today, how you been this week, Mike?
I've been in New York.
New York state of mind?
Yeah. I met Jay-Z. Had a dinner with him. I chose that over $5 million.
Why?
I think obtaining the knowledge, it's more profitable.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen those memes?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you got that. Having a blast. Definitely not in the same place I was last week. I'm a whole new person.
It's definitely not like 2-3 minutes since we last recorded.
No, that's preposterous. That'd be pretty crazy, though.
It would be.
If we went back in time or some shit like that.
Yeah. The Harry Styles album came out.
Oh, yeah. That was...
I liked it.
I mean, I gotta say, that was definitely an album that came out this year, made by Harry Styles, and I think that's really commendable of him to do.
Yeah, it is an album that I did listen to.
Yeah.
Once or twice. Maybe more.
Yeah. And it definitely had some pop songs on it. Yeah.
Harry has a good voice.
Yeah, and surprisingly, he was British too.
I didn't. I thought he was fucking from Montana or something.
Yeah, he just shredded his Montanan roots.
Yeah, he moved to London and he became British.
I know.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he did it, but
yeah. So we definitely listened to that album. We have been listening to that.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week.
Yeah, sorry. How was your week? My apologies.
No, it's fine.
How disrespectful of me.
I definitely did some things.
Yeah.
And I watched some shows, movies, maybe both.
Yeah. How was that one movie? I heard the plot was really good to it.
Yeah, this is a beach. This isn't a beach. It's a bathtub.
Oh yeah.
A lot of good plot now.
Yeah. I've heard great things about that one. Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Yeah. The plot twist in that one is crazy.
Yeah, I know. Actually insane.
Yeah.
Huge cock on that guy.
How
was your week?
Yeah,
how was New York? How was...
Like I said, dinner with Jay-Z. That's pretty much all that happened, so not that eventful.
Really? Did you finish your album?
Not yet, no. But Niagara Falls, it dried up.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it? Came the second Grand Canyon?
Yeah, Grand Canyon 2 is what they're calling Located only in Canada.
It's actually crazy. Like, New York became a part of Canada.
Yeah. I didn't think they could just buy it like that, but they did.
Back down to 49 states, I guess. I think we're going to go to war with Canada, though.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau versus Joe Biden.
Yeah.
In a boxing match for America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Biden could definitely take a punch and not
he won't
crumble
disintegrate. Have you seen that guy?
Oh.
He's going to wear sunglasses in the ring. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great match.
That's got to be at the next Creator Clash.
They're actually going to do it in the middle of the dried up Niagara Falls.
Yeah, Grand Canyon too.
Yeah. Yes, which is what...
Yeah, that's its dead name, Niagara Falls.
Congratulations to Niagara Falls for coming out as trans.
Transition to a canyon.
Good. Congratulations.
Yeah. Very brave of them. Mm-hmm. But speaking of New York, the Strokes. We're here to talk about them. if you want to actually hear how our weeks are, check out last week's episode.
If you don't care, then stick around.
Yeah, woo, that's jokes. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll talk about my exposure to them first. Previous to this episode, well, artist analysis, we talk about all the albums of the artists, and previously I had only heard a few tracks from them, and I'd listened to like half of the new Abnormal before. Mm-hmm. And I had like enjoyed what I heard, but I wasn't like super like in love with it at the time. So like I definitely was interested going into this because I see them on a lot of people's like, you know, indie. I don't know if they're indie, but like
they're indie rock. Yeah.
Are they indie rock? Yeah, I see a lot of people have them in like that alternative indie like playlists and stuff like that. Like I see their stuff pop up a lot. So I don't know. I was interested to see it happen, but yeah. I mean, I guess that was pretty much my context beforehand. I didn't really know much about them. I mean, I knew Julian Casablancas is the lead singer, and I like that Daft Punk song he was on.
I actually heard that song being played in a Jimmy John's last weekend.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, huh. And then I think Lose Yourself to Dance played after that, and I was like, this is somebody just shuffling their playlist.
Yeah. They're just listening to the Daft Punk album.
I had listened to half of their discography before this.
Oh, really?
I listened to Is This It? I listened to Broom on Fire, and I listened to The New Abnormal.
Okay.
So their middle portion is where I had not listened to stuff. So I was kind of excited. I've really grown to enjoy the Strokes, so I was excited to see what happened. And, you know, we'll get into it. Mm-hmm. But, sorry, there's an ice maker.
Yeah, we're going to have some background noises again. I think you may have just heard a cat like a minute ago or something. They hear some ice, some warm ice as well.
Warm ice is what the Grand Canyon 2 used to have.
Yeah. Used to, yeah.
Dried up in a week. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like, people say global warming isn't real. Like... And that the Earth is round too. Like, what the fuck?
We start in 2001.
Yeah.
With Is This It? And do you want to start us off, Mike?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Is This It? It's an iconic album. I've heard a lot about it before. Iconic album cover. It's a side profile of an ass.
Or in the American version,
it's just some blue and yellow, something.
Looks like a clock.
Yeah, something like that. But like, I've definitely seen that picture before of like, the black leather glove on the white ass, pretty much.
I've seen that multiple times.
Yeah, it's provocative. It's like, damn. But yeah, it's an iconic record. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Here comes the air conditioning. Enjoy that.
Nice. Some more white noise. Yeah, so I said I actually ended up listening to this record twice because I wasn't really feeling it the first time. Yeah, I don't know. On my first listen, it just kind of sounded fine to me, but I was like, I gotta be missing something here because this is like critically acclaimed, iconic album. I'm like, what am I missing here? So, yeah, I didn't really connect with it too much outside of like a few moments during a few songs. But like it was towards the ending of my first listen that made me want to do a second one. Was on the song "Hard to Explain," and something about that track, like it kind of clicked with me, like how their sound was and like the vibe that they were going for the whole record. And yeah, clicked for me during Hard to Explain, and ironically, I can't really explain what it was that clicked. It just all of a sudden, I really started enjoying the tracks more and appreciating them for what they were afterwards. I also really started enjoying the lead singer's vocals too, which I forgot was Julian Casablancas when I wrote this. For some reason, I thought he was the Killers, but
I forget his name, but
I don't know. But
Brandon Flowers, that's what it is.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I got that mixed up. I know. How could I?
hate you.
Coming out of my cage.
I'm feeling just fine.
Yeah, I really started enjoying his vocals, though, again, too. And he honestly kills it throughout this whole record. He's got a lot of charisma and angst to him. He's doing really good. I said there's really catchy tracks on here, and then there's also a lot of deeper cuts with other great stuff happening. And it's an overall good sound on the ears. Like, I liked it. I wouldn't say I'm like head over heels for this record, me personally, but it's definitely super quality, and I get why many people regard it as highly as they do. I'm guessing even in 2001, this was just like, I don't want to say a completely new sound, but definitely a new spin on this kind of sound, and they were paving a path for that. So yeah, my favorite tracks were Hard to Explain, Soma, which was one of the first songs of the week. It was somewhere in those first few episodes.
It was the third episode.
Was it the third episode? Yeah, that song's great. Trying Your Luck I liked. Someday, I think I've heard Someday somewhere before. It's one of the more streamed ones on here, and I was like, oh, I've heard this. Take It or Leave It, Barely Legal, and Is This It? I like those. And my least favorite ones, I didn't dislike these songs, I just didn't like them as much, were Alone Together in the Modern Age. And yeah, overall I'd give it like a strong 8. It was really good. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I was excited to revisit this album because this was... I did listen to this one before the third episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, for pretty much as long as we've been doing the podcast, I have been... in the little Strokes mindset, but
I was having a stroke.
Yes, I've been having a stroke. It's a medical condition. But yeah, I really like this album still. My first note was like, oh hell yeah. They've had their sound down since this project, and that's pretty fucking impressive.
For sure.
Like, they made this sound, and then they were like, you know what? Let's do 6 albums of it. And they did. And it's really fucking good. And I love his voice. I love the production. I mean, the only problem I can see with this album is that, like, some songs may sound a little samey to people.
It definitely gets a little samey, honestly, throughout the whole discography.
But, I don't think that that's an awful thing. Because, I like that sound a lot. But yeah, it's a really solid debut. There are a good amount of bangers on here, and it contains some of the band's most recognizable songs, even now. Like, you got Last Night, you got and Soma, and Someday, as you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I truly love the sound of this band, and it reminds me why I love rock music so much, because it's really fucking solid.
Yeah.
Why? What are you laughing at?
No.
Say it.
Well, just let the episode play out.
Just say it.
No. I don't have anything specific to
okay.
say. Yeah.
Fine. Okay. My favorites were Soma, Last Night, Take It or Leave It, and Is This It? And I didn't write down any least favorites because I did listen to this in the car, and I was not writing down. But
that's fair.
I could probably pull out a few if I tried, but I can't.
Yeah.
But I also gave it a strong 8. So
nice.
Yeah. Then we go to 2003, a couple years after, with A Room on Fire, or just Room on Fire.
Sequel to Bo Burnham's A World on Fire.
Yes. Or prequel.
Prequel. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No sophomore slump for these fellas. Kind of because it's a lot of the same feel of their debut, but it still feels fresh, and I love the guitar riffs on this album, especially on Reptilia. One of the most recognizable and fun riffs I've heard, and it's also very fun on Guitar Hero. The cat's scaling the counter again.
Third time.
At certain points, I said I feel a bit of Weezer, but not like an insane amount. I think it was just like a feel in one of the songs. I forget which one it was, but it was like, hey, that kind of feels like a Weezer kind of song.
There's a few times when listening to these records, I was reminded of, like, I think I saw where some artists got influenced. Like, the vocals reminded me of, like, Will Toledo of Car Seat Rest at points. They also kind of reminded me of Rex Orange County at points, too. Like, I thought, like, some of the delivery was like, But, yeah, sorry, I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, like, that definitely could be a lot of influence to those artists, because this band has been around for a good amount of time.
20 years plus now.
As long as we've been alive here.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I said this is another solid album. They don't do a whole lot different from the first album, but I don't think that that's a bad thing. Well, I don't absolutely love everything here. I still like the vast majority, and they still sounded just as good as their debut. Also, why are there, like, there's literally 5 seconds of silence at the beginning of every song on this. Every
Is
song
there really?
Yeah. I was looking through it. I would go to a song, 5 seconds, song would start. Go to the next song, 5 seconds, song would start. I don't know what it is, but it kind of
you think at that point they would put the 5 seconds at the end of the song,
right? But it was at the start. It was very strange. It was every single song.
Sorry,
Charlie, come here. But my favorites were Reptilia, 1251, Under Control, and this The End Has No End. And my least favorites were, like Mike said in his, I don't dislike these songs, they weren't my favorite. Between Love and Hate and The Way It Is. And I gave it a late 8.
Alright.
Break my heart, Mike?
I may. So, I started this one off with, I gotta be honest, I don't know if the Strokes are for me.
Oh no.
I like their sound. It sounds good. But these songs are really blending together to the point where I'm already a little iffy about listening to the rest of this discography. It was just how I was feeling when listening to it. I said, to me, this sounded pretty much exactly like their debut. Kind of like how you were touching on. I said, except for me, it kind of sounded a lot less interesting. Like there was a lot less interesting sounds to latch onto for me personally. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it sounded fine, but that's kind of it for me. I wrote down, I just listened to it and I can't tell you anything about it. Like I couldn't name you moments from songs I really enjoyed or anything like that. I said there wasn't anything that struck me as bad, and there were a couple that struck me as good, but I just got a whole lot of nothing out of listening to this one, me personally. So, yeah. Save those sniffles for my rating.
Oh, no.
But my favorite ones were Whatever Happened, which I believe was the opener. Reptilla, I liked. 1251.
Keep going.
Oh, I typed it wrong. 1251, I Can't Win. And my least favorite one, I put down The Way It Is, but really, honestly, like I said, everything really blended together for me on this one. So, like, a lot of it was just kind of nothingness to me. Mm-hmm. And overall, I gave it like a strong 6. I wasn't really feeling it personally.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Yeah.
What about First Impressions of Earth in 2006, Mike?
Yeah. I put down 2005.
It was 2006. They took a 3-year gap.
Hold on. I'm going to check this because usually I may be wrong. I probably am. Honestly.
You are, but it's fine.
Maybe you're wrong.
I wrote this all last night, so I stayed up till 1 in the morning listening to the
maybe you were really tired and...
Well, I wrote that down around 10.
Shit, it was 2006. Yeah. Alright, 2006.
Take it from the stroke victim. That's what they call their fans.
What's up, stroke victims? Don't have too much fun out there. Alright. I said, upon first impression, this one's it's their longest record, and it definitely feels like that at points. There's definitely some filler in here, but most of it wasn't really that bad. I enjoyed them going into some different sounds here and there on the record. It didn't feel like the same song for the duration like it has felt like on the last record for me, and honestly on the first record as well. It was very samey. Which isn't, like Colin said, that's not inherently a bad thing. It's just on first listen, it's like I'm not picking up a lot out of it because of that. And I said the only problem I had was with the song 15 Minutes, which in my opinion had a very obnoxious vocal delivery and was actually kind of grating on my ears. I don't remember exactly what it was. If I remember, he kind of sounded like he was like drunk in it, but like
yeah,
also
I think
he was
I remember
like
what you're talking about.
Kind of like screamy towards the end too, but like it didn't sound that good.
Okay.
I don't know. It was a little weird. And I said the background instrumental didn't really help all that much on that one either. Mm-hmm. But that was the only moment so far in this listening that I genuinely didn't like throughout the whole artist analysis. But yeah, I said most of the songs were very listenable, and the good tracks stood out to me more than they did on the last record. Like I was able to latch on to things a little bit more. I really liked You Only Live Once. Vision of Division I liked. Red Lights, Juicebox, Electricityscape, Evening Sun. And my least favorite ones were 15 Minutes, On the Other Side, Ask Me Anything, and Eyes of the World. I think most of those, once again, was just kind of like a little forgettable. And overall, I'll give it like a decent 7. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Fair. My first note on this is experimentation. This album goes a lot harder tonally than I thought it would, and that I'm used to with the band. They did a lot more hard rock feel here. Yeah. And is that a bit of grunge I detect? I think I was talking about Vision of Division.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
I started this album around like 11 or 12 yesterday, and then I finished it, and then I was like, what did I listen to? Because it was in the car, and I was like, wasn't paying attention to it heavily enough, so I listened to it again, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. But I said I like this one as well. I think that while they were still sticking to their usual sound, they tried some different styles in a couple spots. I particularly enjoy the guitar work on this project. It's very crisp, and there are some killer riffs throughout this thing. This is their longest album to date, and while I can always appreciate more strokes, I think that they best fit within the 35-45 minute mark.
Yeah, I would agree.
I like this album quite a bit. My favorites were Visions of Division, Razorblade, Fear of Sleep, Juicebox, and Red Light. And my least favorites were Ask Me Anything and Killing Lies. Killing Lies was just kind of annoying because just him going killing lies over and over again. And I was kind of like, okay. And I gave this one a decent 7.
Had the exact same score on that one.
Yes.
All right, then we get a little bit longer of a break here.
A little hiatus here.
Going into Angles from 2011.
Yeah. When it first started, I was like, ooh, little poppier than the usual sound. I said I don't really agree with this anymore, but I said I don't like the sound. I don't love the sound in some places, but I don't hate it. And it gets more strokesy as time goes on here. This is a pretty interesting direction for the band. There was a bit of a hiatus, and they came back with some cool ideas. While I think that at some points it's a little rocky, I think that they found their footing as the album went on, and it led to some really good stuff. I particularly loved what they did with that like ear effect at one point in the album. I forget which song it was. I think it was like third song or something like that. But they did like a cool little like, I forget what's that effect called, where it's like you hear it one ear and then it goes.
Like where it's just like panning. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that effect a lot, and then they used it a couple times. Like, ooh, but yeah, I like this album quite a bit. At first, I thought that this was the album that people didn't like as much, and then I looked at album of the year. It was like, oh, it's like a 70 something.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. And then my favorites were Call Me Back, Under the Cover of Darkness, Gratisfaction, Taken for a Fool, and Metabolism. And my least favorites were You're So Right and Two Kinds of Happiness. And my rating was a light 7 on this one.
All right. Yeah. I think I read somewhere that there was a bit of a hiatus between this record and the last one. And I said you can definitely tell because their sound feels more modernized on this one. And I really like the way this album starts, honestly. The first few tracks are probably some of the ones I enjoyed the most of the whole thing. And I said as it gets further, though, I don't know. I like all these tracks, but some of the more creative, in quotations, decisions made in the back half of the track list are a little questionable to me. They started giving me some 2010s Muse vibes on the tracks here, which sounds like an insult, but I think it was done decently. I said, I don't know, something felt off about the last leg of these tracks for me, but honestly, I still enjoyed the record overall. I thought it was pretty good. There's nothing, like, amazing here, but also nothing terrible. It was all P good is what I put. My favorites were Machu Picchu, Taken for a Fool, Under Cover of Darkness, and Call Me Back. My least favorite ones were Life is Simple in the Moonlight and Metabolism and Games. And overall, I gave it a decent 7, so the same as the last one. I felt pretty much the same about it.
All right. Yeah, Come Down Machine, 2013.
Yeah, 2013. I said, yeah, welcome back to another episode of I Got Nothing Out of This. I said the songs were all fine. I think the production is definitely played a little too safe on this record. It makes everything sound really prettied up and not necessarily in a good way. I thought I wasn't actually going to like any song on here, like in terms of like, be like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that song. There wasn't anything that was catching my ear until the closer. The closer was actually surprisingly very good. It had this really mellow mood, like it captured a mellow feeling like really well. And I wish there was more things like that on this record. I said, yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Even though I know a lot of the tracks on their next record after this, I think I've come to the conclusion that the Strokes just aren't for me personally. It's just not a sound I can connect with like on a larger level, I guess. I don't know. But my favorite ones were Call It Fate, Call It Karma, which was the closer, which I really enjoyed. And then I found some enjoyment in 80s Come Down Machine and Slow Animals. And my least favorite ones were Partners in Crime and Tap Out. And overall I gave this one like a light 6. Wasn't really feeling it that much.
That's fair. So it wasn't Angles I was thinking of as their lowest rated album. Was this one?
Yeah.
And then as I started listening to it, my first note was like, why is this their worst rated album? It's not like low, it's like 60 something, but it's still like, really? So while I understand not loving it as much as the past projects, there's still some interesting ideas here. I mean, the production could use, some TLC to make it less, prettied up, I guess, as you said. But I feel like that was intentional, I think. I don't know. I said overall, yeah, I don't understand why people don't like this one at all. I mean, it was ahead of. I think maybe it was ahead of its time, and people just had sticks up their asses in 2013. But I don't know. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. Like I said, there are points where the production could use some work, but I really think it was it was good. I don't know.
Yeah.
This one surprised me a lot. Great album. Listening through this, I was like really bopping my head to every single one of these songs. Like I was enjoying the slower parts, like 80s Come Down Machine, which is my first favorite on here, and then it gets like hard and 50-50 right after that, and I liked that. And then Call It Fate, Call It Karma. I was reading through some of the album of the year, reviews, and someone said that Call It Fate, Call It Karma is Ratatouille core.
Okay.
I don't know. I was like, what the hell? It was before I listened to it, and then I got to it, I was like, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then I did like Tap Out and Welcome to Japan. And my least favorite was Slow Animals.
Okay.
And I gave it a light 8.
All right.
I like this album quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Yeah, and then we get into their magnum opus.
Yeah.
The New Abnormal in 2020.
Yeah.
I said, oh, fuck yeah. God, I fucking love this album. Everything is so crisp. This is the closest they've gotten to their debut, but I love it so much more. Everything slaps so hard. So God, this album fucking rules. They vanished for 7 years, and all of a sudden, amongst the global pandemic, the Strokes come back to save us all. Ever since I listened to this album a couple months ago, it has just continued to grow on me. It has easily become one of my favorite albums in general. It's nearly perfect.
Wow.
I love this album a lot. My favorites were Selfless, The Adults Are Talking, Ode to the Mets, Eternal Summer, and Brooklyn Bridge to Chorus. My least favorite was At the Door, but even then I don't hate that song. It was just the one that was like, eh. And I give it a strong 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. I said I've listened to half this record before, as I talked about in the intro, but this is the first time I've gone all the way through it, and certainly the first time I've actually paid close attention to it. And I said, man, maybe I'm just biased, but this was by and far my favorite listening experience from them. I felt the songs were instantly catchy this time around. The production had brought out each of their strongest aspects, too, like Julian's vocals impressed me for the first time since the debut. And also I really like a lot of the guitar tones that they did. A lot of the synth stuff that was on here too sounded really good. It all just like fit together really well. And I really don't dislike anything here at all. It's just a couple tracks that I found to be good, but not as good as like the highlights, which are very, very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it was fun and consistent, and I had a very good time listening through this one. And my favorites were The Adults Are Talking, Brooklyn Bridge to Chorus, Ode to the Mets, Selfless. I liked At the Door. I don't remember what it was, to be honest with you. And Bad Decisions. And then my least favorite ones, once again, I still enjoyed these songs quite a bit. It just, I didn't get as much out of them. Were Why Are Sundays So Depressing and Eternal Summer. And overall, I gave it a light 9.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking album, man.
Yeah, no, that was definitely my favorite one. Yeah.
All right. So I have some overall thoughts here. I said the Strokes have been insanely consistent since their debut. It's honestly impressive. While they have 10 million listeners on Spotify, I feel like they're still underrated for having been around for as long as we've been alive. I love the indie rock vibe. Julian's vocals are amazing, and I just really love their style. The Strokes have genuinely become one of my favorite bands, and it's like, I don't know why I was sleeping on them so hard for so long. But, I think the first time I like legitimately like listened to a song was like Halloween in 2020 when they were on SNL. Like I think John Mulaney was the host, and it was after a long shift at the deli, and like I was just sitting down. The SNL was on, and John Mulaney was like, "The Strokes," and I was like, "Okay." And then they played The Adults Are Talking, and I was like, "Whew, that's like some good shit." And then it took me a while to actually listen to one of their albums, but I did. I'm glad I did because I fucking love this band. And you have any overall thoughts before we get into our rankings here?
Yeah. I said after listening to the New Abnormal, a thought occurred to me. I think for me personally, the Strokes are one of those bands that connect with me a lot more on a second listen rather than a first. And I'm thinking this because my repeated listen of Is This It brought a much more positive opinion out of me. And I originally didn't connect as much with the New Abnormal either, which is why I never finished it in the first place. And that was my favorite of the bunch. So those are the two that I have re-listened to, and they were by far my favorite ones. I'm not exactly sure why that occurs, but for some reason these songs are honestly just kind of boring to me on first listen, and I only realize that they're catchy when I hear them and recognize it again. I don't know. It's a weird comparison, but the same effect has happened to me with like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Kanye albums as well, especially College Dropout has had a very similar effect on me, where like the first time I listened I was like, okay, yeah, this is fine, but then when I listened to it again, I was like, oh, a lot of these songs are actually great. I remember like all of this. But yeah, so what I'm saying here is don't take my opinion super seriously for this episode. Saying that to the viewers, I guess to you as well. Yeah. Don't take it super serious here. Usually I'm better at listening closer to artists for these artist analysis, but for some reason I feel like there's a slight translation issue between me and the Strokes. I don't know, it takes a couple times for me to understand what they're going for, I guess. It's just not immediately clear to me, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, I'll probably keep in touch with their first and last albums, and I'll probably give their second album another try too, because on Album of the Year I saw that was also pretty highly rated. And I think Fantano had it as his second favorite as well or something. So like, I don't know. I'll probably check it out again, see if I get anything more out of it, but yeah, we'll see. It's just, take my opinions with a grain of salt this episode.
I do think you should listen to Come Down Machine again, because like...
Come Down Machine again?
Yeah, I don't know why I really liked it, but it just surprised me and I really enjoyed it.
Maybe. I don't know. For some reason, that one really didn't connect with me all that much, but I may give it another shot. Yeah, we'll see.
Right. But do you want to do your ranking? Or do you want to
sure, I'll do my ranking first. My top was the New Abnormal. Is This It after that, and then First Impressions of Earth, and then Angles, then Room on Fire, and then Come Down Machine for me. So.
I have the New Abnormal, then Is This It, then Room on Fire, then Come Down Machine, then First Impressions of Earth, and then Angles.
Okay.
And then my rating overall is a solid 8. But what is yours?
For mine, I put a decent 7. That's pretty much what they feel like for me. It's like, this is good music that I don't mind listening to. I just that's kind of the level it stops at for me personally.
Yeah.
Except for the new Abnormal and Moments on Is This It?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not your usual genre.
Yeah, it's
a
I don't know how to describe it. Like, because I definitely like this alternative rock style. Like, that's pretty much my favorite genre in general. I think something about them, though, is a little bit different. And it's just not as instantly latched on to for me, personally. Mm. It was still good, though.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I feel like we went through that pretty fast. What do we have?
Somewhat. We're at like 35 minutes, so
okay.
like, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
It'll be a shorter episode.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It's the summertime. We're not always going to be free anymore. So
yeah, so, yeah, like, and I'm not sure if we'll have to do this again. We may, but, like, we're bulking up on 2 episodes here, so, like, we don't pad it out with talking about our very eventful weeks that we always have. So, I don't know, maybe a couple like this.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple cool things that happened, like the Grand Canyon 2 and stuff like that.
Well, yeah,
but,
and Harry Styles.
Yeah, and those are big world events, so it's, you know, we had to talk about those a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we're not always going to have, like, oh, the Twin Towers fell again, you know, like...
I mean, Canada did take New York, so
yeah,
I mean,
they
like,
might build another one.
New York has fallen now to the Canadian forces.
Yeah, it's become a lot cleaner in just a week. It's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up that they cleaned up our city like that. We spent so long trashing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are they doing too? Helping out the homeless? Like,
that's
what the fuck?
Yeah. Free healthcare?
Yeah, communism. That's what I call that.
Yeah, fuck them. Justin Trudeau did blackface once.
Exactly. There you go.
So they're not all good.
I guess they're not all bad. Sarcasm, everyone.
The Meese have taken over Mets Stadium.
It's now the Meese Stadium.
It's nature's returning. It's honestly scary.
Yeah,
that does not belong in our cities.
No, we need industrialization.
we need fucking Texas to get in there, to defend our city. You know.
Yeah, all the Texans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah. But yeah, song of the week.
Song of the week.
I guess it's me this week.
Yes, it would be you.
And I do need to figure out what I want to listen to because. Let's see. Let's do 80s Come Down Machine.
All right, cool.
Off of Come Down Machine by The Strokes. If you didn't realize.
The Strokes?
The Strokes?
Who's that?
I don't know. Alright, 80s Come Down Machine by The Strokes.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the ones I had in the positive on my review there.
Yeah.
And I do like the vibe of that one. Mm-hmm. It's got a nice vibe to it.
Yeah. I can definitely feel that Will Toledo you were talking about.
Yeah.
In there. It also kind of reminds me of like a Radiohead track, a little bit. You know?
I could see that. It's not quite as like ambient as a Radiohead track
it's
would
like,
be.
It's like low key singing.
Yeah.
Like that fucking.
The vocal style I could definitely see a little Tom Yorkie in there.
Yeah. My favorite breed of dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it was nice.
One of the highlights of that album.
Yeah, I would agree on that part.
Yeah. But I don't have a ton to say about it. I just like the sound of it.
No,
I think it's very pretty. So what do you have for us, Mike?
So I'm gonna go basic bitch since I didn't really pull too much out of any of these albums on like first listen. I did enjoy a couple of them, but I noticed we haven't done this one, and honestly, this is a really great song. So I'm gonna do The Adults Are Talking. So, yeah.
Don't go there 'cause you never return. I know you think of me when you think of her.
Alright, The Adults Are Talking. Hell yeah, they are.
Yeah. I am an adult.
Yes. By The Strokes. But yeah, somewhat basic bitch answer, but that's a great song. I mean, I think that's probably the first Actually, I think it's definitely the first song I've heard from them. Whenever that came out, I did hear that somewhere. I think it may have been in like a Spotify list made for me or something.
Yeah.
But great track. I really love that song.
Yeah, it's great too. I think that's their most streamed song at the moment.
It might be. It's definitely their most popular right now. But it's vibey. It's catchy as hell.
It's number 1 on their most popular at the moment, but it's not the most listened to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's got a great vibe to it. I really like it. Julian's vocals on it are great too, especially when he starts hitting those high notes.
Oh, yeah.
Like the high notes all on this record are really great on the new Abnormal. But
we got some vocal coaching in the past 7 years before that album dropped. But
yes, but yeah, it sounded great. Good song. Good song, B.
good job, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah. Great. I'm very surprised that you made that song.
I know. Yeah, I was produced by Plaintiff. Can you believe it?
I can't.
Before I even had Ableton.
But you had GarageBand. That's all you needed.
That's true. Yeah, GarageBand made the Strokes.
But yeah, that was our artist analysis on the Strokes.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go catch the flight to the boxing match at the Grand Canyon 2.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna be there. It's a nationwide event for both Canada and New York. Or sorry, Canada and Canada. Canada and the U.S. Of course, there's the Canadian side of the border and the U.S. side of the border for the Grand Canyon 2. And
of course, it is a nationwide event, and it is sponsored by Allstate.
Yes, yeah. I hear the Allstate guy, like the stunt guy or whatever, he's going to be driving a car through the middle of the match or some shit like that.
Is Mayhem Allstate?
I think.
Or is that the deep voice?
I think that's what Allstate is now, but I think before. Oh, I need to look that up now.
I did see a recent Mayhem commercial.
Really?
I didn't think they were making those anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess after Canada got a hold of New York, they started making it again.
For
some reason. I don't know if.
Yeah, it was Allstate.
Yeah, I don't know if Allstate is a New York company. But I don't know.
It's Canadian now. We'll see all of you there. Make sure to stop by and say hello.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a little BrokeN Boys booth out there.
We'll be right next to podcast, but outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have the BrokeN Boys booth where we pass out brochures.
Brochures.
Brochures, yes.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Just end it.
Okay. If you're listening on streaming services, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. You can come over to YouTube, where once again you won't be able to see much of us, but you can come there and see our links. We got links to the Song of the Week playlist, where you can listen to 80s Come Down Machine or The Adults Are Talking, both by the Strokes. We've got those in our individual playlists, as well as a combined playlist that has all of our tracks from all 65 episodes, including ones by our guests.
Yeah.
We got the Twitter page as well. And then you got links to Colin's stuff. He's got an Album of the Year page where he reviews albums and whatever else he may review on there. And also his Instagram review page. I have my Album of the Year page as well as links to my streaming services. Keep a close eye on those, because this is now 2 weeks out from now. And we will be close to something. I may even have a date announced, and if I do have a date announced, you can check on my Instagram. I should clarify what I'm announcing. Album.
It's another 5 singles.
Yes. Should be doing pretty well there. I think that's everything. Did I get everything?
Just listen to Plaintiff. We gotta go, Mike. Come on. We gotta go.
Oh,
our plane is departing.
Oh, fuck.
We gotta get to the old York.
I am Team Trudeau. See you later.